state that I came specifically because I heard Ms. Merriweather make the comment that she was uncomfortable because the information maybe was incomplete as to the past track record and work done. I want to first clearly state that I agree with Mr. Medrano. Dissent is very important. I come out of a community of dissent. Frederick Douglass, W.B. Du Bois, Martin Luther King. I've seen dissent and I've seen debate and discussion. I think the issue isn't so much about dissent, it's about disruptive behavior that happens during the course of meetings and the inability of individuals to be able to be civil, to be productive, and to be respectful of others. I know for a fact that the question that had been asked was something that I would have been open, because I think Anton's a fine person, he's a nice person, but I listened to his comments. And what I didn't hear tonight was that a recognition of saying, hey, I acknowledge your feelings, I'll try to do better, I'll try to make sure that the things that concerned you would not be an issue in the future. I'm here to be able to lend my experience, and lend my talents, and lend my expertise. That's what I was hoping to hear, just some recognition, because everybody knows that I've done things that have been wrong or disrespectful, but I've always tried to say, I'm sorry, I understand, I want to acknowledge. I heard more of a justification and once again a nuanced about it's not whether you're right or wrong that the tax rate statement was not something that, quote unquote, was ratified by the board, but that was included in the ballot language. That wasn't the point. The point was that it was done outside the scope of being collaborative with the others and sharing with others and using letterhead that gave the impression that it was from the Oversight Committee and that he had standing to speak on behalf of the others. And so it doesn't even preclude Anton from attending any all meeting. The public is free to attend. They can come to any meeting they want. So it's not really about his inability to come there. It's about the ability to have a position that the person believes has stature. For what purpose? The person served before they were on the senior. I even forgot in 2004 when they resigned the first time, because I was on the board. Glenn Price, when Dr. Harder was there, Glenn Price said, let's give him another chance. Let's give him another appointment. So they appointed him to the senior citizen position. He resigned. He then came forward and through the whole process of running for election for school board, literally tore down everything anybody had done with the intent just to be counterproductive. Now, mind you, after that, in 2008, after the election of Mr. Thurman and Mr. Medrano, Mr. Jungherr was given a third chance and was appointed by board member Audrey Miles at that time to be the representative. The board voted unanimously to approve that endorsement, voted unanimously to approve that ratification. So there is no statement that this board is biased or prejudicial because 4 members of it voted for that. I think this time staff's recommendation is very much appropriate because of the fact, and this is why I'm really troubled by this, and you heard from a speaker tonight, what doesn't get talked about is that the city of Hercules withdrew their nomination of Anton Jungherr. The same people tonight who are talking about appointing him and writing these letters chose not to be committed to their convictions in moving his name forward for a vote. They withdrew his name for consideration. Only then, and this is a person who had been on the committee for a year, and I heard from others, Anton and others asked this person to step down. Linda Lozito had been on for less than a year on the committee, had just been getting to understand and knowledgeable. But when Anton was not then come through the city of Hercules, then all of a sudden it came, well, let's try to appoint him through the Taxpayers Association. a group, mind you, that had never shown any advocacy ever in terms of an appointment. Chris Hunt has never come to a school board meeting to speak on behalf of any appointee that they had. When John Wolf was the appointee, he served, and it's funny. Most people know the taxpayer representative is the only representative where you don't have to be a resident of the district. You can serve on, they can appoint him to John Sweat, Martinez, Antioch, Pittsburgh, San Ramon, Acalanes, Moraga, Lafayette, they all have bond measures. So if the issue that they say that she came as, he started an organization and they need to serve, there's about 12 other school districts in Contra Costa County where that role can be filled. And they can put, Chris Hunt can put that person on the taxpayers. But guess what? She won't. She won't do it, because the minute that person started acting up, they would be calling over there and telling them, you better make some changes around here because we're not going to tolerate this kind of behavior. They're coming to West Contra Costa because they know that there has been contentiousness and ability to try to not look out for the needs of the community and the board, because that just wouldn't happen anywhere else. And so, and I heard, the interesting thing I heard tonight, they said, well, there was a representative from Mount Diablo that's come. Me and Ms. Kronenberg actually went to the Mount Diablo Oversight Committee. We watched this person. They were asking legitimate, open questions. But guess what? The person did not attack, was not critical, and was not disruptive during the whole meeting. And it was very important information. The reality is that every single person, we have a new district engineer, Matty, just getting his feet wet. It's just unprecedented. You've never seen 6 or 7 people who have no axe to grind with anybody. A parent representative, Brent Fetter. A union representative, Wayne Ellis. Mr. Gosney. They have no axe to grind. Norma Ruben Martinez. They don't have any axe to grind with this person. But the reality is that the individual has just not been able to demonstrate the ability time and time and time again to be able to collaborate with others, to be able to even get their point across, their mission accomplished. And I'm going to give you the final example that I found so disturbing. Last summer, when the East Bay Express came out with a article on shiny buildings, shady dealings, it just once again was a reminder of how we lose sight of the fact that we should be very proud of what we do, that we've had audit after audit that's never found any disruptions in this program, that we've had people serve, and that the one consistent thing that they have is that other districts meet quarterly with their oversight committee. We meet monthly. They meet for over 2.5, 3 hours. I think the reality is that the Taxpayers Association is going to have to nominate somebody else, because the reality is that a person who's demonstrated a lengthy and long history of lack of ability to cooperate, to act outside the bounds, is not deserving of a fourth time to be. We're talking fourth time. We're not talking a second time, second chance. We're not even talking a third. I come out of a community where you got to give somebody a second chance. I've gotten many second chances. But we're talking a fourth chance. And I would have even thought maybe if I had heard some ability to say, you know what, you guys, you're right. I want to work with you. I'll try to do that. But instead, I said, I'm going to get out of bed, because I heard, once again, a contentious, confrontational approach and a justification. So it saddens me, because I think Mr. Thurman's right. It's written in a way that makes it difficult, because you don't want, in your heart of heart, to feel that you're doing something. But I think in the best interest of this district, and in the future of the fact that we have another $100 million worth of projects that the Oversight Committee is going to have to be looking at, with Coronado, Leadership Gompers, with El Cerrito Stadium project, with the Helms Fields project, with Coronado, that this is the time to really make it known that the Taxpayers Associations are going to have to bring us another choice. And so with that, I'll conclude. I don't know if anybody had any questions, but I'm ready to put my vote on the record. Mr. Thurman? Okay.
So I'll make a motion that we support staff's recommendation.
I will second the motion again and request discussion on the motion.
Sure.
Thank you. Just to reiterate, I think that Mr. Jungherr has a lot to contribute, and I'm appreciative of his interest in serving in this community. I don't think that the board's actions should be based on debating yay or nay about a person who wishes to serve in our community. For me, my decision to support this recommendation is purely based on if someone has served, has been appointed at least 2 times, and has failed to complete that term, it makes me wonder about consistency, and it just seems to me that if those terms weren't completed, it's really in the district's interest that someone else be given an opportunity to serve, and I will continue to support the motion for those reasons.
Okay. Ms. Merriweather, did I answer your questions, or did you have any more comments?
Yes, you gave a very thorough, explanation, and I think that for me, I trust your opinion, so I feel much comfortable voting now. So,
right.
Thank you.
I know I appreciate that, and I think you did the right thing, and I understand why it's a difficult position to be in. And I agree with Mr. Medrano, dissent is critical. We will never, ever be able to make things happen without, that's why we have our bodies meet in public, so people can address their concerns. But we will never accomplish anything. And Mr. Medrano is good at this. He's polite, he gets his point out, and he respects the positions as we move forward. But what we can have is disruptive behavior. And too often we've had disruptive behavior. But I'll go ahead and allow a roll call vote.
The roll call vote is to
Support staff's
staff's
recommendation.
recommendation to decline the nomination. Ms. Kronenberg?
Yes.
Mr. Medrano?
No.
Ms. Merriweather?
yes.
Mr. Thurmond?
Aye.
President Ramsey?
Aye. The motion carries. Staff's recommendation is adopted.